What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tyson, the Gypsy King Fury. Tyson Fury reveals his frustrations with the Ukad situation while he was absent from the ring. Okay, we all are aware of Dillian Whyte's situation as of right now, so we got a lot of counterpunching to do. And let me share Tyson Fury's story with you guys. And this is what he had to say. He said in February 2015, both Tyson and his cousin Huey returned urine tests which reported elevated levels of nandrolone metabolites, right? Due to delays with the result management, the pair were not charged until June of 2016, and their lawyers battled a case that lasted until December 2017 and resulted in compromised outcome. Ukad held their position that the anti-doping rule violation had been committed. However, the Furies insisted that they never took any performance-enhancing drugs or knowingly committed a violation. Okay. The end result was a statement released on December 12, 2017, announcing that the Furies received a 2-year ban backdated to December 13th, 2015, meaning they were both free to fight on the following day. Now, in 2019, Dillian Whyte has a confidential Ukad situation ongoing after it was reported that a drug test returned 3 days later or prior to this win over Oscar Rivas stated that Whyte's system contained an adverse finding. In his autopsy behind the mask, Fury wrote, "From February of 2015 to December of 2017, a cloud of suspicion hung over me relating to an accusation that a high level of nandrolone had been found in my system and that my cousin Huey Fury. I had to resolve this before I could truly believe I could fight again. I had been tested regularly by the drugs people at UCAD, probably more than most boxers, and when the case with them finally came to a conclusion, they were able to list a series of tests that came back negative. The issue of the raised level of nandrolone came in a test in February of 2015, but I wasn't even made aware of possible charges against me until long after that. The body naturally produces nandrolone, but mine had a high level for some reason. I can categorically state, however, that I have never taken any performance-enhancing drugs, never will. The big question that did remain after the case was resolved was why it had taken UCAD so long to sort it out. Okay? Why did they leave me in limbo, allowing people to call me a drug cheat, allowing me to be humiliated like that? I couldn't help but feeling the time and forces were at work in the background. Boxing is a shady business, and when I reflect on that period, I can't help but feel that if some people felt that they couldn't beat me in the ring, they had to get me out of boxing another way. Now, when the case did come back to a conclusion, the statement by UCAD made it clear that they could not establish why I had that raised level of nandrolone. Okay. Now, this is a year. Okay. They took his sample in 2015, February, but for some reason, it didn't come back that they had a problem with his test until a year later. Now, this is where I'm getting at. Why did it take Tyson Fury's test so long for them to establish that, hey, you have a adverse finding or you had higher levels of nandrolone more than any other, so we are now putting a pending investigation against you. While that happened, when that finally happened, people labeled Tyson Fury a drug cheat, him and Huey. Okay? Now, the opposite happened to Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, someone from UCAD leaked it out, which they still haven't even produced a B sample, which is convenient because look how long it took them to find that it was something wrong with their test. Why did it take them a year? That was a whole fucking year, from maybe over a year. Okay. From 15 to 16, oh, now they're being charged with suspicion of drug use because of the high levels of nandrolone. Okay. But Dillian White's situation is they quickly released that. But why? That leads you to believe there's some other shit going on with Ukad. You remember the Carlos Melendez situation where it took them so long and then they finally came back and, hey, yeah, you have some kind of dirty test. You know, all of these are sounding like the same shit, where other tests have them negative, but for some reason Ukad has them positive, and they're a suspicion under something, and they wait, or they lay, or they lay on the drug testing, and they stall it, and then meanwhile when they stall it, they allow other shit to take place. So it's real suspicious to me with Ukad once again. Now Tyson Fury is another guy besides Carlos Molina, besides Dillian White. Now it's Tyson Fury that finally explains his story. He explains it in his book. Okay. And he explains why the Ukad are shady, why they're corrupt, why people don't want to fuck with them, why people are questioning their leadership and their organization. And they should. There should be no reason, if those were higher levels of nandrolone from both him and his cousin, Huey, okay, that should have been notified quickly, right? But then what's not consistent is Dillian White's situation with Ukad was quickly blown out of proportion. See what I mean? By somebody that either was paid to leak that information. Why would you think that it was a leak at that particular time? Why all the fucking times? Why wasn't it a year like Tyson Fury's? Him and his cousins. You see what I'm saying? It's crazy. And it was like, and look, the case cost over $1 million in lawyer fees. And it was discussed in the press that if I had won the case, which I knew I would have, then it would have left Ukad bankrupt. That's probably what he should have done, honestly. You know what I mean? But that could easily have meant another 3 or 4 years battling in court. Anyway, the case was finally cleared up and I could seriously start thinking about fighting again. But you got to think about that time. You think about 15. You think about 16. You think about 17. They backdated the ban, right? Because it took him a year to even see if he did anything wrong. Well, what do you think was going through Tyson Fury's mind at that time? Now, a year you couldn't count. Because a year he was doing his own thing, partying, whatever, yada, yada, yada. However, you know, when he found out, do you think that could have added to the depression and the shit that was going on with him anyway? Well, damn, not only if I'm out doing drugs and doing whatever and having these mental illnesses or, you know, having self-doubt, now this adds more to injury, right? For having, now they saying I can't even fucking fight. You know, after all these other tests from other organizations, I'm passing them, but I'm not passing Ukad. Think about Dillian White. Dillian White, same shit. I passed VADA, but I'm not passing a local organization, Ukad. It's weird, man. It stinks to high heaven with Ukad. It's just too many cases with shadiness and corruption. Okay, that's what it shows you. You know, and it seems like they either are getting bribed or getting paid to make certain fighters sit around while other fighters either come up or rise in popularity to keep that particular fighter back. That's what it seems like to me. Because look at Dillian White. Dillian White was well on his way. He was he was the number one mandatory. He was the eliminator. He beat Oscar Rivas, right? Beat him 12 rounds. Had a scare in the 9th round. I get it. It was a good fight. It was an undefeated fighter, but he still got the job done. He passed VADA. There's a little shit with Ukad, but then all of a sudden it was leaked, right? Why would you think it was leaked? Let's be real. Why do you think it was leaked all of a sudden? You know? So you got Carlos Molina with his stuff. What was going on with him? He leaked it too. He cared to share. Now Tyson Fury's carrying the share. Now Dillian White's going through the shit. Okay? So you got 2 Brits and an American. So this is not just targeted towards British fighters. They selectively pick fighters to fuck with due to who or whatever, you know, is behind this. But it's some corruption somewhere with the Ukad, and they really need to be investigated because this type of shit right here, They mess with people's lives. And Tyson Fury even said he was thinking about killing himself at one point. That could have added to all the depression and all the problems, the obstacles. You look at what he's doing now. He needs small goals, right? Don't Tyson Fury need small goals to keep him going, to keep him motivated, to keep his mind clicking? Okay, what do you think happened with him when he all of a sudden heard that Ukad, after a fucking year, says, hey, you know what? Well, you got high levels of nandrolone in your system, man. You know what? You're suspended. You're pending investigation. How do you think that made someone that is already going through mental illness feel? You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? But anyway, that's something that I wanted to share with you guys. You guys tell me what you think about Tyson Fury's insight with the Ukad in his own case compared to Dillian Whyte's case. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.